was November 2025, and Rabbiatu Kuyateh says she found herself in a nightmare. The Sierra Leone native had been living in Maryland in the U.S. for nearly 30 years. But at a routine check-in back in July, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, detained her. She fought hard to avoid being deported to her home country, where she says she had been raped during the Civil War and where she feared being tortured because of her father's ties to the political opposition. A U.S. immigration judge granted her protection from being sent back. 2 months after that ruling, she was on a plane to Ghana.
They put me in handcuff on our hand, on our waist, and our ankle.
Rabbiatu says she was held in a hotel there for 6 days before being forcibly removed to Sierra Leone. This video of her made headlines in Ghana and the U.S. And it put Ghana in the middle of a heated debate over U.S. President Donald Trump's use of so-called third country removals to speed up the departure of immigrant offenders who cannot easily be sent back home by sending them to a third country instead. In the U.S., Rabbiatu worked as a nurse, paid taxes, and bought a home with her son, she said. But her asylum application was refused when she missed a hearing. And she had a removal order dating back to the 90s for overstaying a visa during the war in her home country, her lawyer said. Rabbiatu's son, Mohammed, discovered what happened through a text message.
I was shocked because I saw her name on my, on my cell phone. I was just like, what is going on? And then she said, I've been deported to Ghana, and I texted her back. I said, what? In all caps. And I was just like, wow.
Migrant advocates and human rights groups accuse the Trump administration of using nations like Ghana to get around U.S. and international laws that prohibit returning people to countries where they face persecution or torture. Lawyers in both countries said more than 30 people from other countries were deported by the U.S. to Ghana last year. Of those, at least 22 were sent by Ghana to their home countries, even though they had court-ordered protection in the U.S. that was meant to stop this from happening, according to lawyers and legal filings. Reasons for this protection included the migrants' political views, sexual orientation, or the fear of being subjected to female genital mutilation.
They said if I'm ready. I said, ready for what? They said they're about to take me to the airport. I said, what airport? They said they want to take me in Freetown. That's when I responded to them. I said, but you know I'm not supposed to go to Freetown. Ghana is supposed to be my safe haven. I cannot go to Freetown because of political reasons. So they started dragging me downstairs. I had a wig off. They took the wig off. I bumped. That's when I bumped. I still have a swollen leg. That's when I bumped my left ankle. Foot is still swollen.
Lawyers Reuters spoke to have accused Ghana of acting as a transit hub for U.S. deportees. They say none of their clients were given opportunities to raise legal objections to their repatriations.
What is happening here is that people are being deported to Ghana and thereafter being sent back to the very countries where they were granted protection from, which is deeply concerning and is putting people in serious danger.
Meredith Yoon is the litigation director for the Atlanta branch of Asian Americans Advancing Justice. She has represented 6 people who were sent to a country other than their own under the Trump administration. Last year, the Supreme Court ruled that migrants can be sent to a third country while a legal challenge plays out in a lower court, without giving them a chance to show the dangers they might face. At least 6 African nations, including Ghana, have agreed to take in third country deportees. There are few details on the arrangements. The Department of Homeland Security defends the policy, saying those sent to African nations were illegal aliens who received due process and had final removal orders. DHS said many had heinous criminal records, including assault and fraud. Yoon said a few of those sent to Ghana had convictions, but most had no criminal record. DHS and ICE did not address questions about Ghana's repatriations. Neither did the State Department, though it emphasized the government's commitment to end illegal and mass immigration and bolster America's border security.
The U.S. is deporting some of the most vulnerable refugees that are in this country to places where they don't have protection, where they will thereafter be sent on to places where they will face persecution and torture, as determined by a U.S. immigration judge, more likely than not. It's truly cruel.
Ghana's government has said that the decision to take U.S. deportees from West Africa was grounded in humanitarian principles.
Once they come, arrangements are made to send them to their respective countries. As far as I know, that has been done. As and when they come, they are processed and sent to their countries of origin. And there's really no difficulty as we speak with that arrangement.
In November, Ghana's Interior Ministry said it was investigating Rabbiatu's treatment by immigration officials. The results have not been made public. Sierra Leone's government did not respond to questions about Rabbiatu's case. Now she is hiding in another West African country after fleeing Sierra Leone.
I've considered America my home. I've been there since my early 20s. My son is there, that's my only child.
She spent the holidays away from her son and aging parents for the first time in decades.